adventure gone on with painted heroes shining bright, venturing onward in the endless night. Where the brawn meets the brush, the story's told in the storm of imagination mold. With every stroke, the fantasy unfold, peace of our soul, our soul. Where the brawn meets the brush, the story's told in the storm of imagination mold. With every stroke, the fate to light for peace of our souls, our soul.
Hello people, welcome one, welcome all. Let's move the cable out of the way as we always do every Friday. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Minis and Muscles, the only place you need to be on a Friday, the place where the brawn meets the brush. It's the place where we talk all things geek, from mainly around painting miniatures, but our topics of discussion range from anything from Pokemon to Dungeons and Dragons to TTRPGs to Warhammer, whatever it is, you name it, we'll talk about it. Retro gaming, we are the place for that every Friday. So if you've just joined in, if you've just tuned in, then you need to make sure you subscribe. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you like everything that I do, share it with all your friends, share it with grandma, share it with your mum, let's get them all online. I hope you're all well. Some of you that watch regularly may well realise there's a slightly different look today. We've got this like arch thing right here. What is this, I hear you say? Well, I purchased a new light. So we did have this one. This light, this sort of magnifying light here that we use to paint our miniatures. And I've purchased a new one. I'm testing it out to see how it works. However, enough about me. How about you guys? How are we? It's Friday! Yes! We've made it to the end of the week. We have made it and we are here. Thank the Lord. Friday, 7 PM. So, how was your week, people? I can see a few people in the viewers right now. So, drop a comment in the chat. Say hello. Give us a wave. Shout. Put your name in the chat if you're new, if you haven't been here before. Tell me who you are, where you're from, what you're interested in, and let's have a good old geeky chat. Anyway, that sounds a bit ominous, that music, doesn't it? Let's change that, because that sounds a bit... let's change it for... Where's my usual one I use? Well, I can't find it. Is it this one? No, that also sounds a bit ominous. But we'll leave that anyway. I hope you're well, and we are on a Friday, so we're here on Minis and Muscles, and we're going to talk all things geek, and we're going to go through painting miniatures. Last week, let's have a bit of a recap on what happened whilst I spill up some... whilst I mop up some spilt water. So last week, there was no live. It was a not so live. I did a pre-recorded session for you guys, and I put it out there at the usual time and the usual place. And it was all around my pile of shame. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh my lord. So, update on the pile of shame. So, if you remember, if you've watched last week's episode, you will see, and I'm not going to say the number, just in case you haven't watched, it's a disgusting amount, the total value of my pile of shame, but... there's an update to that because at the end of the stream I said that I'd missed some things out, and I think I'm an extra about 500 on top. So you got one number there, 500. So if you add that to the rest, if you go back and watch last week's not so live stream, you will see me go through all of the models that I have collected over the past few years, that I have not painted yet, that are sat there in a box, literally just there, ready to paint. So you can have a good old laugh at me as I cry myself into my wallet as I realise how much money I have spent on these models. Yeah, you can have a look at what I've got in the pile of shame that's in stock and sat there ready and waiting. But yeah, that was my update to the Pile of Shame video. Hopefully you've watched it. Hopefully you can enjoy it. Oh, it's Gav. Hello there, son. How you doing? Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well. So yeah, so that Pile of Shame was pretty crazy, but it's okay. It's all right. We'll get through it. Like I said at the end of my stream, in fact, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say go and watch the end of the stream for a small little nugget that I say right at the end as to why I got what I did and did what I did. But anyway, so let's outline today's session for us, shall we? So if you haven't already, like I said, like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family, all the rest of it. But today what we're going to go through is our agenda for today. We're going to get back to painting our diorama. So our diorama, which consists of this sort of muddy track with grass either side of the track, plus our 3 intrepid heroes encountering an odd-looking tradesman selling them wares. So we're going to do that. We're going to continue with that throughout the stream. However, the topic, as usual, because we always have a topic of conversation, the topic of conversation today is going to be more around talking about, because of my pile of shame and the value of that pile of shame and how much there was in terms of total value. It's actually this, I want to kind of go on a bit of a frugal topic for this week, and we're going to talk about how to do things cheaply. So we will cover all of that through the stream. So it's just going to be talking about how to get into the hobby cheaply, what you do need, what you don't need, blah, 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 blah. So you can enjoy something for yourself, benefit from it with all the good things that model building has, and then continue and grow into a hideous monster like me who buys lots of silly things like this, although we'll come to that later, and all the rest of it. Gav is saying in chat, I'm not well at all. I'm still feeling like a set of nun's drawers. He said, how have you been? Soz, I've been a bit quiet. Mate, don't worry. All right, don't worry at all. Hopefully your nun's drawers are clean. But I'm all right. Standard usual week for me, really. So it's been a busy week at work. Yeah, I'd say, yeah, pressure is mounting significantly as we start the new financial year for my company. And not my company as in I own it, but the company I work for. We have an odd financial year, so that means it's just a very busy time to start that. But apart from that, yeah, it seems alright, it's okay. Haven't won the lottery yet. Haven't got 1 million subscribers, so can't quit and just do this all day long. But yeah, so that's that. So yeah, topic of the week is going to be around cheap miniature painting and how to get into the hobby for not too much money. As usual, we have our muscle moment. During our muscle moment, we are going to talk about the gym bro look. That's what we're going to talk about. I was kind of side-eyeing my notes there. We're going to talk about the gym bro look because a gym I go to local to me, and there are quite a few gym bros there, and yeah, it's an odd phenomenon, and I thought it'd be interesting to talk about it for the stream. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about for 10 minutes. Yeah, so throughout the session, as always, drop into the comments like Gav has. Say hello, tell me how your week's been, even if you're not feeling well. You know, as poor old Gav is not feeling well, send him some love in the chat. But yes, yeah, join in and let's make it a good evening. Anyway, hopefully you've got your water ready. You've got your wet palette sorted and with a clean bit of paper in, like mine. We'll show you mine. Look, there you go, clean. Well, it looks like it's got paint in, but it's not. It's just the under foam bit. Pouring water out now, going throwing it everywhere. I'm a right old nightmare with water this week. Yeah, so that's that. Got my wet palette ready. There we go. Okay, got some brushes. And we need to get back into these miniatures, don't we? We need to get back into where we were. And where were we? Let's have ourselves a little reminder. So, in fact, let's bring them up on the screen, shall we? Let's change our view. Hey, Oh no, that's right in the way. Can't have that. Let's just move that just there so you're not seeing... Oh no! What's happened there? I've just lost my video feed. That's very strange. Let's just change this. 2 seconds, bear with me people. Hopefully the video stream will come back. Is it coming back? No way. I check this every time before my stream and that's literally just cut out on me. And it's on, it's charged, but the stream is just cut out. Right, let's just take this off, go to here. Let's work around, shall we? Let's work around. If we do this and let's go to phone cam instead. There we go, backup camera. So, we've got 2 miniatures that we started painting. We've got our Dwarven Cleric, who sits here. So, typical Dwarven, bright orange or ginger hair. So, he looks very cool in his white robes. So, we've got him and we've got our female human rogue. So, you can see there, she does need her eyes painting, so we'll sort that out. All of a sudden, my laptop is running very slow. God knows what's going on. Russians must be attacking. If we change... Oh dear, it's really slow. Go over to here. We've got our Traveller with his big bag of wares. And then lastly, the last one to be painted is our female orc. So we've got 2 more to be painted. Those 2 are pretty much done. There's stuff that we can do on those, but they're pretty much done. We need to sort of concentrate this session, I think, on these 2 and get them painted so they look good. However, what does look good is the path that they're going to sit on. So let's just bring that into view. There we go. So here's the muddy pathway. All I did to make this, by the way, in case you are wondering. Oh, we've got someone in chat. Penny's Pit Stop. Hello there. Hello. How are you? So to make this terrain, I used expanding foam. Right? Expanding foam is like £3 to £5 a tin. Alright, I just expanded a big blob of it and then cut it, as you can see here. Just cut it into shape, cut the areas I wanted, painted, and then put some flock on here for grass. But essentially how we're going to be on here is you'll have the guy there, and you'll have one here, if she will stand. Then you're going to have the barbarian at the back. There you go, as long as she doesn't fall over. And then you're going to have this guy, this tradesman. He is going to be stood over this side. So I don't know if I can get him to stand. Hold on, bear with me. Right, he'll lay there. There you go. But basically that's going to be the scene. So you're going to have the tradesman over this side, then the adventuring party coming up over the hill and stumbling across a tradesman. So that is what we've got here. Let's just put the camera down for a moment. Let's just see if we can return to our usual camera. But this is really weird that that's not working. God knows what's happened here. Bear with, peeps, bear with. Don't know what's going on with this. We might be completely without camera for the whole time, which is really rubbish. So how are we anyway? Penny's Pit Stop, how you doing? Tell me how your week's been. Let's just check whilst we set these videos again. Try and reset it. Change it to me. Change it to the camera. And hopefully we can change it across to where it should be. Hey! There we are. Okay, so we've got a form of camera back in action. Right. That's so strange that that just dropped out like that. But anyway, we're back, so we're good. So we've got these 2 minis. We've got our orc female and we've got the trader. So those are the 2 that we're going to paint this evening. Oh, trying to get that in. So hard sometimes to remember how to put it into camera when it's opposites. We're going to paint these 2 tonight. Let's get cracking. Who should we go for? Looking at the 2, I reckon we go with the trader because he does look very interesting. Sorry, Miss Orc, you are cool, but the trader's going to have to be painted first, I think. Right, okay. let's get crack-a-lacking. So how's everyone's weeks anyway? What's everyone been up to? What you've been doing? What's been going on? Matey, couldn't be happier, says Penny Pitstop. Finally got on the overnight London rota. Did my first shift and slept all day and about to do my second trip. Although the wind did catch us out a bit. So overnight London rota, what's this all about then, Penny's Pitstop? Tell me. Be interested to hear what that is all about. I'm not sure if I'm understanding the jargon, the lingo you're using. But yeah, I'm glad that you're happy. That's super cool. And it sounds like you're enjoying whatever it is you're doing. So that's absolutely mega, right? Part of life is trying to enjoy what we do every day on a regular basis. Doesn't always happen. It's not always easy. But we try to do that, right? In the best way we possibly can. So we get through in the ways we do and we can. Oh, that's what I was going to mention to you guys. So let's hit up on the topic for today's frugalness and getting into the model hobby as cheaply as possible. So on that, this week, as you see here, we've got this new archway. So this archway is... I've sort of seen a few people using these archways because they provide light left and right and all around your model. When you hold your model underneath, you can go, oh, okay, it's got light all around it. Great. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll get rid of that old spotlight we had. And I changed it up. Now, I got this, talking of being cheap, I got this from Temu. Now, I'm not a fan of buying from places like that. I'm really not. But I was trying to operate on a budget because I've just had to replace the boiler in my house. My house is only 3 years old and I've had to replace the boiler. So, you know, I had to kiss goodbye to £2,500, which is not an easy kiss, let me tell you. There's a lot of other kisses I'd much rather be doing and not paying for a boiler. So yeah, so that was a bit of a painful one, a painful sting. So yeah, I got this from Temu. I'd seen a lot of these advertised, these archways, on various different sort of model building sites, like rated really highly, lots of people liking them. But they were like 70, 80 quid, and I was like, sod that, I don't want to buy something that's 70, 80 quid. So I bought this from Temu. Do you know how much this was, including shipping? Right? I want you to jump in the chat now. Tell me how much this was, including shipping. Including shipping, right? Come on, give me some guesses. Let's read out what's happening. Penny's Pit Stop is saying, so I drive a coach from Glasgow to London. Tomorrow morning we stay in a hotel and in the evening we drive back. Oh, like, oh gosh, what are they called? Because I get one from Gatwick to Heathrow sometimes for work. Oh, National Express, that's the one. National Express coaches. So you drive like something like that. Nice. Adrian is saying, Guten Abend, mein Freunden, wie geht's? Waiting for your reply, Adrian. Come on, get chatting. Penny's Pit Stop is saying £2.99. Ooh, £2.99. So, just to recap, these lights are sort of in most other places at about 70 quid or so. I have seen them as much as 80 quid. And as little as about 40 quid. No, not little as 40 quid, little as 50 quid. And then I was like, I need to stay frugal because of this darn boiler. So I got this for a price. What price was it? So what we guessing in the chat? We've had one chat. Adrian's saying, good. Ja, good, danke. Glad you're well. We are Fixbus, which is like National Express with the jokes and happiness. Yeah, they ain't too happy on the old National Express sometimes, I tell you. There's also a company that like does National Express but isn't National Express. And when I get at the airport for work and stuff and I get the coaches, they like, you can get on their buses, some of them, and some of them let you on, some of them don't. They're right old bloody boring buggers, I tell you. So I'm assuming that's not your company, Penny. So, yeah, that is good. I'm glad for that. I'll guess seriously at 15 quid. I was on YouTube, but my bell didn't light up. Oh no! Megabus. I don't know if they were Megabus, Penny. I'm not sure. But he was right sour-faced, git, I tell you. And it wasn't the National Express, but they were covering the National Express route or something. So if you had a certain ticket, you could get on the bus, but I couldn't because I didn't have the certain type. But he was like, we are covering National Express, but your ticket doesn't allow you to get on this one, so you can't get on. And I was like, all right, okay, whatever. So we've got a couple of guesses on prices. I won't leave you hanging any longer. I did pay, Penny, congratulations, whoop whoop. Prize to you, the prize of admiration. It was £15 and 6p. £15 and 6p for this light. It was advertised as a nail bar light, so I'm going to be side hustling nails. So ladies out there, if you need your nails painting, come to Minis and Muscles. Not really, I'm not painting anyone's freaking nails, but jokes aside, that it was advertised, this lamp, as a nail lamp. So maybe that was why it was so cheap, because a lot of people do nails, not many people do mini painting, so it was a bit more easy to get a cheaper price out on the go. I don't know, but 15 quid, and I snapped it up. I was like, oh my god, 15 quid over 70, 60 quid. Yep, that's it, I'm getting that, absolutely. Bought it. It did take a little while to arrive, so it took 2 weeks to arrive, I think, roughly, which is not a huge amount of time. It's arrived, it's here, unpacked it. Quality's okay, it's not amazing, but it's not terrible. I have to say, it's not terrible, peeps. The lighting is pretty good. It smells a bit, when I get a bit close to it, it does smell a bit funky, but you know, it's not a bad item. Maybe when it was sent from China, they packed it full of drugs, and that's why it smells so funky. But yeah, 15 quid was the price. So on operating in a frugal environment and trying to ensure that we, you know, keep things cheap in this world of model building and mini making, because our hobby, let's face it, is bloody expensive, right? And I think every one of you will agree on that. It's super expensive. So that's why I thought, well, I'll do a little bit of a chat, especially after my pile of shame video last week that totaled a lot of money. I thought I'd do a video on frugalness, just to bring me back to earth. So what we're chatting in chat anyway. Penny's saying our buses are bright green, not a great colour if you're driving through the Rangers part of Glasgow. Oh yeah, you're not going to be loved there, man. That's not a good colour to have at all. Why would they choose that? I guess they're a Celtic fan, because those are two colours that you generally stay away from in Scotland, right? Colours that align to either Glasgow Rangers or Celtic. So yeah, it's two colours you avoid, because you don't want to upset people. Because football's almost as well, it's probably bigger than religion. You probably get more people attending football than you do religion. Churches, sorry. So yeah, I think it's probably the biggest thing. Well, I say all religion, not just churches, should I say. But yeah, I think it's probably bigger than most things in this country. So what else is saying? Adrian's saying 3 magic beans. Okay. Penny's Pit Stop saying, wow, admiration, that's a prize money can't buy. It certainly is. I don't just give admiration away. I now respect your mystic aura, Penny, for being able to guess pricing. So well done. So it's very, very good indeed. Very cool, very cool. Penny's saying, my friend just messaged me. He said he has invented a mind-controlled air freshener. I said, that's stupid. He said, it makes sense when you think about it. Aye. Nice. Not only drives the bus, but makes the jokes. Penny's Pit Stop, everyone. Penny's Pit Stop. Yeah, so frugal. The company is German, so who knows what's going through their minds. Oh, okay, yeah, they probably weren't thinking about it, were they, to be fair? They probably didn't even realise the cultural differences. So frugalness. Back on session, Steve. Back on point. First of all, my first thing is to start small. Right? You do not need, in any way, shape or form, you do not need to replicate my pile of shame that I had last week on the stream. That is crazy. Admittedly, I am rather crazy, but that is mad. Start small. People should start small. You don't even need to buy a huge box set. Buy one model. This one model I'm painting right now costs you like, I don't know, £5 off Etsy. Right? Start small with what you're going to paint. And another reason is not just a cost reason, but getting into this hobby, a lot of people sort of get into it and they leave it very quickly because they get like bored and they're like, oh no, it takes too long. It's, you know, you have to actually sit there and concentrate. And you're like, well, yeah, brain cell, of course you do. That's the idea behind it. You're to concentrate on the model and take your mind off of life. You know, the crazy world we live in. So, you know, start small so you don't end up turning your brain into mush too quickly. The problem I think that a lot of people face is they buy all these models and they go, right, it could be like Warhammer's a great example because it comes in big boxes. They buy these huge boxes, go, right, I'm going to start this army. And they buy all the models, they unbox it all, and they start putting them together, and all of a sudden they get scared of the amount of work they've got to do. I get scared of the amount of work that I've got to do. I've been painting a few years. So for newbies, for getting into this hobby, start small, man. There's no need to buy all the things in the world. Find a model, whether that you walk into Games Workshop and buy it from there, whether you go to your local friendly game store and buy it from there, whether you buy it online from Etsy. Just buy one. I dare you. Buy one model. Get it in your collection and sit with that and be happy with that one model. So there's my first tip to frugalness for you. Starting small. What we're saying in chat, Penny's saying, it's like I said, the National Express, but with jokes and happiness. Well, I'm glad that it has all those jokes and happiness, Penny, because the world needs more jokes and happiness, right? Half the time it's quite a sad place to hang out. So, yeah, jokes and happiness are appreciated. I started doing this outer jacket, or this outer sort of filthy cloth that it's going to turn into. In this sort of creamy colour, because I thought it would be really good once you dirty it up a bit. But then I'm looking at the rest of his robes and I'm going to have to find what? My camera's just dropped again. What the effing Jeff's going on? This is really annoying. Is it actually turned off when I've been charging this all day? Oh my lord. Sorry, peeps. Yes, it did. How ridiculous. There we go. We're back. Forgot where I was then. What are you painting, Steve? Is he carrying your pile of shame in his Bergen? Yeah. So, Adrian, this guy here is, if you can see, a sort of travelling tradesman. This travelling tradesman's carrying loads of items. He's got them all sort of lined up in his jacket there. I'm not sure if you can quite see them just yet. But he will be able to once I start painting them in. He's got a massive bag on his back and you can see all of these sort of D&D type items hanging off his bag. Alright, so lanterns, ropes, belts, swords, all that sort of stuff. He's got like loads of trinkets in his jacket. He is going to be part of the diorama we're building. The diorama we're building is this here. So we've got the grassy sort of edge. This guy is going to be stood about here on the grassed area. You've got the dwarf there that's going to be coming in. You've got this lady here as well to be coming in, and our orc female as well. They'll all be sort of joining on this diorama, and that's kind of what we're doing. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're just trying to get another model semi-painted. So that is who he is, and he does carry every single item from my pile of shame last week, in last week's video, in his bag. Given the size of the bag in comparison to the character model itself, I think he could probably carry my pile of shame as well, which is bad. But never mind. Like I said at the end of my stream, you know, this hobby brings me a lot of joy, a lot of happiness and sanity. So actually, it's worth every single penny, and I couldn't give a damn if I spend, not that I have £1 million, but if I spent £1 million, I genuinely don't care, because it brings me something worth way more than that. But yeah, that was my pile of shame video. Check it out. That was last week's public video that we made. So go check it out. But on the theme of frugalness this week, rather than being crazy spendies. So we spoke about very quickly about starting small. So what does that consist of? What does that really mean? I said, and sort of lightly touched on, like one model rather than having a huge box set to start. I think that's probably the way forward. What do you guys think in chat? Do you think that you should start with one singular model? What would you do? What did you do, in fact? Let's maybe understand what you guys did. How did you start model building and model making, etc.? That would be interesting to know. Drop it in the comments. What we got in the chat? Loose cable. Yeah, I'm not sure, Adrian, to be fair. This camera's been really dodgy today. It costs a few quid as well, this camera. So, in fact, I don't think it's the camera. I think it's the video input card that I use. I think that is what is causing me problems. So yeah, so video input card, that is the issue, I think. But don't worry, we're still here, we're still going, so it's all good. Yeah, so on the frugal talk, what I was thinking is start small, and I said about buying one model, and that also kind of applies to paints. You don't need to buy all the kit and caboodle just to start off. Buy, you know, some cheap paintbrushes. Don't buy these you can buy really expensive ones that are going to cost you hundreds and hundreds, but you don't need them. You know, I don't even use paintbrushes at hundreds and hundreds. Not that I'm a painting expert, but I'm not bad at painting. And I don't use those. You just start small. Buy one or two brushes. Buy a few paints specific to the model you've bought. So we said about buying one model, right? Buy that one model. Okay, so how am I going to paint this model? I mean, you could even write your backstory to your model if you want, or give him some kind of backstory and context so you know what he might look like. It might help you in building out the journey of what your model will be painted in colours. But yeah, buy that one model, get maybe one or two brushes, and then, because you only really need a brush to apply the base coat, which is generally a bigger brush, a dry brush type thing, and then you can just go and get a average sized brush for the detail. You don't need to go super small, and actually half the time having a super small brush can actually make things a lot worse, especially if your hands aren't steady. Yeah, this really does smell funky. Cheap light, but it does smell very odd. Every time I get like a whiff of the light and the sort of smell that it's radiating, I don't know if it's the plastic or the insides or something, or to be fair, it'll probably frickin' catch fire in about 2 days' time. I tried to be cheaper, so. Yeah. What else is going on in chat? Nothing in chat at the moment. Oh. So yeah, on the frugal path, we're saying, you know, one model, a couple of paints in accordance to the model you're painting, 1 or 2 paintbrushes, and that really is it. That's not going to cost you a lot. If you're sensible about it, you can get into this hobby for like 20 quid. And you can start. Don't get me wrong, you can spend an awful lot more. You know, depending on what you get, what shops you buy it from. But actually, I think the idea for this is to start small and grow. So yeah, my advice would be start in that small way and scale it at a later point. Once you find the love and the passion for it, and it's, you know, you really start to get involved in it, then you can start to, you know, add more to your collection. One thing I would say, right, whilst I'm painting right now, is I started in the week using speed paints because I have bought some orcs for an orc army in Warhammer 40,000 and started painting them, but I wanted to paint them quick. I didn't want to spend the time that I did on my Sisters of Battle. They're not an army that I have a particular affinity to. I just bought them because I thought the models looked cool, liked the look of them, and thought, right, okay, I'll just buy them and I'll have a second army that I can play for shits and gigs, you know. So I got that. I got some models. I started using speed paints. I bought some speed paints because I've spoke about it before in this YouTube show about how Citadel paints aren't all that. They're not that great anymore. And I wanted to try some others. So I've gone over to Army Paint. I'm not using them right now, but I have gone over to Army Paint and I'm using the Speed Paint series. And I've got to say, they're pretty darn good. Shall I show you what I've been painting? Let's show you what I've been painting on the side, outside of this stream. So, let's bring him in here. So this guy. There you go. That is what I painted. Speed painted him. Not bad, right? I think he looks pretty cool, personally. I like him. And his little squig that's eating a Gretchen. I thought that was pretty cool. Although the squig seems to be not drying and falling forward, so we need to sort that out. But yeah, I've been testing these speed paints. I think they're pretty good. I'm quite liking them. Does anyone else use speed paints at all? Or has anyone else used them? I like them. I think they're really fun to use. If you're a beginner to painting, I actually personally think that they're better. Because you don't, on speed painting, you don't really look at detail like we do on normal painting. I think it's all about getting it done quick, getting something that looks pretty effective and getting it onto the model. So they're actually quite a good ways to get something done fast. So again, if you're worried about painting and you're new to the game, speed paints might be the answer. They flow a lot easier and they give you shadow and depth in the model itself without even having to apply any contrasting paint, which we'll do later. But you don't even have to do that with speed painting. It's instantly there. You already get that. So it's a very cool option to have. But yeah, back to this sort of frugal sort of side of the topic. Oh, what you're saying here, Adrian, in chat. Are you going to do a video from Contingency? I will be doing a video from Contingency, yes. That will be the plan. So Contingency is a tabletop role-playing gaming week. I will be there as part of Tactical Advance to Game, this sort of sub-part of Game Therapy UK that looks after veterans and current serving personnel in the form of therapeutic gaming via tabletop role-playing games. I will be there at contingency, so if you are at contingency or coming down for contingency, drop me a line and let me know. It'd be lovely to say hello to you. That's over in Hunt Stanton, North Norfolk. The home of Alan Partridge. North Norfolk Digital. For those of you that like Alan Partridge and can appreciate my impersonation, I hope they put a little smile on your Friday evening. Trying to get into all the nooks and crannies here on this one. Because on this backpack there's actually quite a lot. There's a little like demon head on the back here, which is quite cool. Quite like him. But yeah. Okay, so that's that. That's the sort of backpack, main body of the backpack done. And we've got some other colours. So we've got some more robes on the front of this guy. I'm kind of not sure what to paint in terms of coloration. Yeah, it's got me thinking. What do I paint him? Any suggestions, guys? Probably zoom in a bit more, actually. There you go. Yeah, any suggestions on the colours? Drop it in the chat if there is. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Right, well, he has got some sort of scraggly skin hanging out there in certain parts, but maybe that's not for doing right now. Oh, actually, probably is, actually. Probably should do that. Probably should do the skin. What colours do we want? Let's start with this one. So what else were we talking about? We're talking about frugalness and getting into the hobby of model building and painting. Well, how about budget-friendly kits? So we were talking about, or I was talking about just then, around you know, doing it cheaply, buying 1 or 2 paints, buying 1 model. Actually, sometimes there are places that do kits so that you can buy. Oh, crikey. There aren't a lot of money that are specifically for people like you who are new to the hobby, so you can jump in and you can have everything you need to get going. Warhammer, got to give it to them, Games Workshop, they do have some cool little starter kits. Their little starter kits give you it's about 7 or 8 paints, a brush, some clippers, and some models as well. Gives it all to you. So they are pretty good for that. I mean, I don't like them for their pricing in general, Games Workshop, because they are expensivo. But at the same time, you know, the little packages they do are really good. And one of them is their starter sets. And quite a lot of manufacturers, to be fair to them, do have their own starter sets too. They're not the only people, they're just the ones I've experienced the most, purely through my own purchases. So they are quite good. They can give you everything you need to get in, and at a sort of cost-effective price point. I want to say, what the bloody hell is the name of them? Well, D&D do have an equivalent starter set, and quite often one of the sets actually I started with was a D&D one, which was bought for me, and it had some paints in it, and it had 1 miniature of like the big bad. I'm trying to remember the bloody brand. It's not Wiz. I think it might be like a partnership, maybe with Army Painter even, because they're in those sort of squeegee type bottles rather than pots like Citadel are. But they were pretty good. Loads of paints in there. Only 1 model though, no clippers, but you didn't need clippers, you didn't need to cut the model out, it was just press and glue them together. I don't think you needed to glue them together. I think you could have just used the push fit method. Yeah, so that's actually a good little kit. And there is a lot of paint in there, as I think you actually get more paint than you do in the Citadel version. Damn, I should have had mine to hand, shouldn't I? That would have been a good thought. Have it to hand. Adrian's saying a file too. Do you get a file? I don't think you get a file, do you, bro? I'm not sure about that. I don't think you do get a file. From my kit anyway, at least I didn't get a file. I certainly had to buy a set of files. Because the files are handy to have. So it's always worth buying a file or two. Helps you do what you need to do in this hobby. Going a bit over the edges here with this, but never mind. Yeah, so starter kits. Oh, Reaper Bones. Are they good? Yeah, I think Reaper Bones. Let's just check that. Let's have a look here. Yeah, so Reaper Bones, I put in my notes here, Reaper Bones, Reaper Miniatures. They do some starter sets, I believe. It was just to remind me what they had. Yeah, they do have miniatures and things like that anyway, so Reaper Bones are a good make. They're pretty good, pretty price competitive. Certainly when you sort of tee it up against other things that are on the market. So they might be a worth shot. Just concentrate a little bit whilst I get a bit of paint in the really tricky area. Yeah, so that's a brand that I thought would be interesting for you guys to look at if you're just starting off in this world of crazy hobby. Don't worry, I'm going over the edges, I know. The only reason why is because this is the eye area, so it's going to take a little bit of fiddling around anyway to get that perfect. So, but what else can you do to be frugal rather than be crazy like me and have an absolutely monstrous pile of shame? Which I'm not bragging about, I'm actually very embarrassed about, but I'm talking about it to kind of rationalise it with my own brain. So if you didn't watch last week's video, go watch last week's video. It's about my pile of shame of unpainted miniatures who are not good, but good to look at it now in hindsight and go, okay, recognise. And I'm not talking about recognise, I'm talking about I recognise the issue of buying too many things, and I can solve that going forward. So yeah, just be careful how much you buy. As long as you do it sensibly. Yes, so what else can you do anyway to get this sort of hobby into the hobby a bit cheaper? Well, you could go on to second-hand shops. Second-hand shops, I'm not talking about things like, you know, what they called charity shops, because I've never seen a... There might be, but I've never seen a model painting kit in a charity shop before. Not this kind of model. You might see like an Airfix type model, which might be your cup of tea, by the way. And they're actually pretty cool. I've done a few myself in the past. But I mean things like Vinted and eBay. Now they can be the sort of devil's problem because they're quite addictive, those kind of sites, but they're actually pretty good as well. They do enable you to get into buying something that maybe someone else bought stupidly. Maybe, you know, you found a person that started a Warhammer army and bought all the models and then fell out of love with it because they got scared of it, and you can buy the models really cheap. I believe that has happened to me since I've been collecting models, and I don't go out purposely scalping things from people. But if I can get a good deal, I'm all over the good deal. So, and eBay and Vinted do quite often pop up trumps with stuff. So you can really find some good little takeaway bits off of those sites at an affordable price. You can often negotiate with people, especially on things like Vinted. That's like eBay's lost its negotiation factor, whereas Vinted I feel still has a negotiation factor. So that is good. You should get yourself in there because it just makes things more affordable. When it's more affordable, 9 times out of 10 it's more enjoyable. So I quite like that. Facebook Marketplace is another one that's really, really good. But I don't have Facebook personally, but I do envy my mate who has Facebook, and he buys loads of stuff from there, and I'm like, damn it, I wish I had Facebook. But I just don't like social media, so I try not to. I still haven't posted anything on my Instagram channel for Minis-N-Muscles, for example, which again I should get over and just bloody post something, but I just don't like social media, full stop. But Facebook Marketplace is really good. My mate has had so many good deals on there for stuff. He even found one, I think it was for a fully painted army. It was like 400 quid. It was an absolute... I know 400 quid, by the way, sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. However, for a full army, which would have cost the person at least 400 quid to buy from Games Workshop, and they were all painted, pretty well, it was like an absolute steal. I wanted to buy it, and we've actually said since, oh, we should have bought it and, you know, split the boxes and just sold it all. But, you know, I just hope that someone had got in there that was a true player, and it's, you know, got it for a good price and can have an army and enjoy it. You know, I don't need to scalp the market, but Facebook Marketplace, good for good deals, very, very good deals, well worth going. Check it out if you haven't checked it out already. So good. Seen a couple of those that come up. My mate sends them. They're very, very good. Yeah. Local hobby groups. I put in here a comment for local hobby groups. Not so much anymore. You don't really see many local hobby groups, but they are still a thing. So you might still find that you have a group near you that meets up every week and plays tabletop role-playing games, or, you know, strategy games, or whatever it is, and has miniatures, and they sell them second-hand. So look out for them. They are there. They're just very, very hard to find, right? So, but keep an eye out, because it's well worth the opportunity. It's a bit like Facebook Marketplace, a bit like Vinted. You know, these are all really good. Save your searches. So if you're into, let's say, Sisters of Battle, right? Save your searches, and then just keep on watching just to see what's out there. A little 10-minute look every night's not going to harm you. It's not going to take away, you know, it's not going to take your whole evening. Excuse me. 10-minute search, take a look, and get straight to the point, boy, for your saved searches. Sorry, I can't get my words out tonight. Anyway, right, we've got this guy's robes here to paint. So we've done a quick sort of tan wash to that, and we've got a bit of brown for his backpack. He has got some more coverings over his backpack as well, which we'll do. But I'm wondering what to paint. I'm wondering what to paint this guy's inside robes. What colour we go for? Are we feeling like a dark colour or a light colour? I'm just sort of scanning my eyes across my paint set to see what we should do. We've got greens, blues, silvers, whites, oranges, yellows, purples, metallic colours. Not feeling a metallic colour, to be fair. Browns. Let's look at our browns. Oh, actually, we've got... Well, that might not be a bad colour, actually. What's that? Okay, so I think we go with this one. So what we've got here is Citadel Xandri Dust. So let's mix this up. I don't think I've used this in a while. So we'll use that for the inside. It's a sort of off. It's not quite a brown, not quite a white, not quite a cream. It's sort of in betweeny, like a kind of tan kind of colour. I think that might look good. And then what we can do is paint some highlight colours for all the objects that are on him in these sort of metallics and bright colours to sort of draw your eye to it. I think will be a nice way. So that is what we're going to do. How are we keeping in the chat? Are we all alright? If you've just joined us, say hello. Don't be shy. Say hello. We always like a good chat here on Minis and Muscles. It's been nice so far to chat to a few of you. So keep it up. Keep the chat coming. So you can see this one is a very similar colour to what we were painting before. It's just a slight darker variant. So hopefully this will look alright. He says. He says. I think it will all go okay. Especially once the contrast paint goes on as well. I think that will look even better then. So what is everyone up to this Friday night, apart from watching Minis and Muscles? What did you do this week? What are you going to get up to this weekend? What's new? I was hoping to catch up with some people this weekend for lunch. I ask them every week if they want lunch, and they never want lunch with me, so... But hopefully I will get hold of them and tie them down for lunch at some point one weekend. So hopefully we'll do that soon. That would be nice. So, thinking of our frugalness and continuing that discussion, what about alternative materials? What do I mean by alternative materials? So, okay, so you can't make necessarily a model from nothing, but you could. Some people make things like, oh, let's show you, right? So I've got in my orc army, I've got things like this. So guys like these, Death Dreads and Killer Cans and things like that, people make those out of bits and bobs, because the sort of lore of orcs is that they're like scrapyard challenge. Sort of, they love to grab something from somewhere and just make something out of it. So what's stopping you as an individual doing exactly that? Making your own scenery, for example. Look at me and the scenery we're using for this diorama. I used expanding foam. I didn't go buy a diorama from someone. It cost me like $3.99, I think. $3.99 for a can of expanding foam. And I've still got loads of it left, so I can use it again. Which is even better. So it cost me £3 and I get to use it multiple times. What's not to like out of that? So yeah, how about finding things like Coke cans? I have seen an absolute ingenious Etsy item. So for Warhammer scenery, it's literally a 3D printed clip-on to a Coke can. That it basically turns a Coke can into this like nuclear reactor type thing. It looks bloody brilliant. It's so good. And it's just a little clip-on that someone's 3D printed. We'll come on to 3D printing, but you know, it's kind of like with this sort of using different materials. It's just finding things that work best. It could be that, like I've said, Citadel paints are not that great anymore, so you want to go to something else. I am positive out there, even on Amazon, you could probably buy some paints from, you know, I'll use China purely because they ship very cheap items, but it could be paints from China, ship them over, and they're probably just as good. And they might even be made in the same bloody place. You never know nowadays. So why not like experiment? If you're new to the hobby, just dabble and just see what you can find. I've even seen some of those paint pens. I don't know if you've seen those for like painting rocks, things like that. But they're acrylic paint pens. They're the same paint probably as what this is that I'm using right now. And people are using them in paint pens and pen form. So you literally get your pen instead of a paintbrush. Okay, so it's not quite the same thing, but it's not like it's terrible that you're doing that. Why not? If it makes your hobbying more enjoyable, that is the key. And obviously, in the topic of trying to keep things frugal, we do our best in trying to keep the checkbook balanced, so to speak. But yeah, use alternative things. So it could be a cardboard box for a building. It could be expanding foam for a load of rocks or whatever it is. Alternative things. Use alternative things. They're very, very good. Just have that creative mindset. Hopefully you're a creative person, possibly why you're doing this hobby or interested in this hobby in the first place. But yeah, it could be quite good to do, I think, in terms of keeping it frugal. What else we got on this guy's jacket to paint? So what else are we saying? Vallejo, Adrian's saying in the chat. Yeah, Vallejo do some good paints. They do some great stuff. I've got some of their stuff. And it was Vallejo actually that did the D&D starter sets. It was Vallejo paint. Yeah, very, very good stuff. So thank you for the reminder, Adrian. I appreciate that, as always. Yeah, it's just painting onto his cowl now. Give him a little bit more colour up top. Yeah, so what else do I want to talk about for keeping it cheap? Well, one of those things, and I mentioned it earlier, was actually 3D printing. So I think we spoke about sort of the futures of 3D printing and things like that in a previous stream, and how it's becoming more and more popular on a daily basis and more accessible in terms of pricing point. So no longer are 3D printers hugely they're expensive, but they're not hugely expensive. They're not thousands and thousands, they're a few hundred now. So this means it's coming down to people like you and I who can afford to buy themselves a 3D printer, or maybe treat themselves if they're feeling flush to a 3D printer. Yes, it will cost you more in the immediate outspend. I completely understand that. However, in the long run, what does it save you? Well, possibly a lot. If you're looking at things like my pile of shame that I had, you know, that's a lot of money sitting there that I've bought. Well, what if you just spent your time 3D printing it? And you just 3D printed all your stuff, and you had all the models you wanted, all 3D printed, all by you, in your own time. Not a problem. How cool would that be? Actually, that would be pretty darn sweet. Because resin costs absolute peanuts. And you can print loads. Once you've got all your table for your 3D printer set up properly, you'll easily be able to save yourself a huge amount of cost. And what's cool about that is that you could sell some. So not only can you make your own models, you can then sell them on. How cool is that? So you can sell some to people just to make your money back even more. And you don't have to do it forever. You could just make yourself, I don't know, 300 quid of sales. Right, well that's paid for my machine. Now I don't have to worry about it. The machine was free. Hey, not a bad idea. So yeah, so 3D printing I think is quite a cool thing to look into. Although I have the space, because I'm hearing people going, oh, why don't you 3D print then? Well, although I have the space, I don't have the inclination or the time to set one up. Is probably the long and short of it. Although I do sit there and think, oh, I should buy one, I should buy one. So it's always in the back of my mind, and at some point I'm sure I probably will get one. Once I pluck up the courage. But yeah, 3D printers are pretty darn cool. So, what's the saying here? The old deodorant land speeder from Rogue Trader. Yes, exactly, Adrian. Oh, look at all the love hearts and smiles and stuff coming in. How does that happen? Oh, that was quite cool. I don't know how that happens, but that's very cool. Thank you to whoever was doing that. I much appreciate it. Send me more love hearts and smiles. Much appreciated. Hey, there they come. Look. Woo! How do you do that? I don't even know how you guys do that. That's so cool. Well, I see them on my screen because I have like the chat on the right hand side. I just see them all popping up. Ah, oh, look at all that. Yeah. That's cool. So Adrian was saying in the chat about the old deodorant land speeder from Rogue Trader. Rogue Trader being a magazine for Warhammer, and it sort of talked about how you can custom build stuff with things like an old deodorant can. Exactly that. You can build so many things if you have an imagination. My imagination's good for some things and not good for things like that, for like artsy crafty stuff. So yeah, not so cool for me, but not that I wouldn't give it a go. So if someone said, oh, I'll do this and it will do that, and I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Look at all the hearts and stuff coming through. Yeah, someone's got lots of love, or their fingers stuck on the button, or fell asleep on the keyboard. I don't care, Adrian. Look at it all flowing in. I'm loving that. That's super cool. Really loving that. So whoever that is that's sending those in, thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you here at Minis-N-Muscles. Keep sending them in. Keep sending them in. There you go. Look at all those cool little signs. I don't even know how to do them. But yeah, alternative materials, 3D printing, very, very cool. I think actually Penny's Pit Stop was doing some 3D printing. I think there was mention the other day about 3D printing. Not sure, but still cool. Oh look, they're all still coming in. That's super cool. Thank you. How do I even do that? Can I do that back? Oh, I can. Oh, I can do one. Can I do one? Oh, I can do one back. Cool. Didn't realise. So, Adrian's saying Rogue Trader was a first edition of 40k. Yes, yes. Sorry, mate. Yeah. But it was... yeah, back in the late 80s. Late 80s? I think it was the late 80s. Correct me if I'm wrong, Adrian. But yeah, that was very cool. Very cool. A few more bits on this little rogue trader himself to do. So we'll get those in. I thought Rogue Trader was the magazine as well. Am I getting muddled up in... I get muddled up a lot with words, so I might be getting muddled. I swear there was a magazine, Rogue Trader. Was the Rogue Trader magazine to go with the game? Quite possibly. Yes! Oh, look, oh, all the love hearts and stuff has stopped now. Damn, I've looked up and they're gone. Boo! Well, that was fun to see all those come in. So let's continue to paint our little model. What else are we going to talk about? So I was going to talk about starting tools. Tools of the trade and what you need to get yourself going. Again, with the mindset that it doesn't have to be expensive, and we're trying to do this as cheaply as possible. So, until you understand that you love this hobby and it fulfills your deepest, darkest passions, then don't spend a huge amount of money on it. Try and find something cheap, like the budgie. Now, when it comes to tools, we do need tools in this in this hobby. So there's a couple of different things that you might need, and let's just go over some of the basics. This is not an exhaustive list; it's just the basics. So please don't shout at me in the chat if we get something wrong or I don't say something. It's just a starter list. So obviously we've got paintbrushes, tools of the trade, paintbrushes. We have clippers. Have I got any by me? Oh yeah, I've got some here that I can show. So clippers like this. Oh, there's more little love hearts coming in. Nice, thank you. So you've got clippers like this that you can use. You can see it in both views. That just cheap. You can get those. You've got your paintbrushes. You've got files. So things like this. Oh, there you go. Metal files. Yay! More smiley face and love hearts. Whoop whoop. Yeah. So you've got paintbrushes, clippers, files. I would say that's probably all you need for tools if you're starting off. There are more that you can have, but the top three I would say are those. I don't think you need any more than that, really. Not for starting off. Even most of the time, to be honest, I don't use that many. I just have a couple, and I use something like these. These ones here, I've had these for ages. I've had these for like 4 years. They're still going. I have bent the ends of them a bit, but they're still going. Yeah, more love hearts. Yes. Yeah, Adrian, I've said, you saying in the chat, Adrian saying files to get rid of mold lines. Yeah, absolutely. I use the files and I also use my clippers. So I use the sharp edge of the clipper to run along the mold line and take those off as well. So I use those too. So it really depends. I think they're the three though key things that you need. Key things. Other than that, I think I would not recommend anything else to start. I would just say get those things, run with that, see how you feel. So there's your sort of starting tools list. And when you're looking at those tools, again, don't worry about going to the big brands. Use some other places. Use your Amazons and places like that to start with, just to find yourself a cheap set. They still say, I still buy occasionally stuff from Amazon that's very, very cheap off of there. If I can, I always do try to buy locally just because I think it's nicer to be able to do that, but sometimes you can't. So I just got a whiff of this bloody lamp thing again. It does smell freaking odd. So yeah, sorry, I keep sniffing the lamp. Hey, look at that. More love hearts. Oh, this is brilliant. I don't know who's doing them, but thank you so much. What else you got? You're saying in there. So Adrian's saying model saw, green stuff, plastic card. Yeah, for more experienced builders, you don't need that though to start. The three things are these three things right here. So let's lay them out. So you've got your file. Your clippers, your file, and your paintbrush. That's it. That's all you need to start with. That's all you need. You don't need any more. That is it. Whoever is spamming my chat with love hearts, thank you. Sending your love right back. Yeah, you don't need a huge amount. I genuinely don't think to start with. Right. Okay, where do we go from here? We've just applied like a basic layer of colour onto the model. Now we've got the top part of this little guy, his backpack, and that sort of roll that's rolled up. It looks like a skin of it. Oh no, it's a finger. That's what it's a giant's finger. That's what it is. Right, okay, so this in here needs to be bone and blood then, doesn't it? Right, got you. So, let's use this colour for a bit. Oh, no, we used that. I'll have to change that for some white. Quartz white. Yeah, so... I lost my thought there. Starter tools, yes. Go for 3 and 3 only. You don't need more. Keep it cheap. Use something like Amazon, and then look at just buying the basics. Free resources is what I wanted to talk about next. So there's a lot of places and a lot of people out there that are really good people that will help you in your modelling journey. Whether it is places like here on Minis-N-Muscles where you can talk to other fellow geeks, talk crap, modelling and all the rest of it, or whether it is places that offer stuff free that you can download. There are lots of them about. Lots of them. Utilise the free resources as best as you can, because when you start off, they are your best friend. They are your knowledge, and they are your support, and they are your guidance. So get yourself into forums and web pages. Get yourself onto the socials, so things like Facebook, if you're into the social media, that is Facebook and Instagram. I'm not sure on TikTok because it wasn't even about when I did have social media. Just get that in there. Yeah, so get yourself across to the socials and join some groups. Also join in-person groups as well. So don't be shy to do stuff in person. That's really important. Get yourself out there. Get yourself amongst the community. One thing I will say about the sort of geeky TTRPG type community is it's super friendly, super fun. Everyone is lovely. I've not met a mean person yet, so that's really good. Look at Adrian coming out with more examples of top tips. So thank you, Adrian. He's saying old newspaper to protect your table. Yes, indeed. You don't need to have a cutting mat like I've got my little miniature on now. You can just use old newspaper. Old newspaper, or I think I used to use a bit of toilet roll or kitchen roll. Literally just place that down because I don't really read a newspaper. And I'm not sure if people still do read newspapers. Maybe not. But if you do or you don't, you can just get your... you can just paint your miniature on anything. So it could be an old cardboard box. Let's be real, right? Everyone gets Amazon deliveries. I don't know anyone that doesn't. Use an Amazon box. Cut it open. Make it flat. Use that to paint on. Perfect example of what you can use for free. So use that. That would be my advice. Because, yeah, thinking about it, I don't know anyone that does read newspapers anymore. Does anyone read newspapers? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Just not sure if they've had their time, newspapers, right? Possibly. But, yeah. Yeah, there's lots of low-cost guides out there. Obviously, come to Minis-N-Muscles because we are the place and the only place. But in all seriousness, there are other places as well that provide free guides. Warhammer has their own community pages. D&D does. They have Discord channels. You name it, the information is out there. Not the truth is out there from the old X-Files. The information is out there for geeking. Honestly, you just have to look. That's all you have to do. You just have to take a little look, and it will be out there. Right, that's that bone inside the fingernail. We've got to think of a colour for the finger, and then the fingernail as well. What about like a colour? What's this colour? Oh yeah, that looks good. We'll use that. It's like a dirty kind of colour. Although it's very similar to his robes, so maybe not. One is like a sky kind of blue kind of mix. Oh, we're getting lots of love in the pop-up, the little emojis. Yeah, love, 100% hearts. Yeah, keep them coming. Let's see what this is. I don't think that's going to be right. It's too brown. I'm looking at this colour here, guys, but I don't think that is with what we've got already. We've already got two very similar colours. I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use that. We're going to have to go somewhere else. What about this? This is like a bluey green colour, I think. See what this comes out once it's shaken up. Either that, we're going to have to go green for the finger. Maybe that will be the way we go. Adrian in chat is saying, or a wooden tray, a Tupperware box, a microwave meal box. So talking of wooden trays and things like that, again, you can buy some really expensive wooden trays that you paint on, put on your lap. You know, like you watch TV and you have a meal tray. It's like a painting tray. There's one the other day. Don't get me wrong, it was very lovely, but it was like over £100. Oh my lord. How freaking expensive is that? And I thought, no, I can't do that. That's ridiculous. I went on to, I think it's Hobbycraft site. Everyone knows the Hobbycraft site, I would assume. And for £5.50, I bought this like plastic tray that sits over my lap. It hasn't arrived yet, so it sits over my lap so I can paint whilst, I don't know, watching a bit of telly or sat in my bed or whatever. Because right now I'm in my man cave. Sometimes I don't want to walk out to my man cave. Yeah, so I thought, oh, that'd be quite cool. And for £5, absolute bargain. So keep your eyes out for stuff like that. You know, that's where you're gonna profit and be able to make your hobby more frugal and more achievable, rather than being something that's sort of, no, I need, you know, like this £120 tray. Nobody needs that, man. That's ridiculous. I can't believe they're even selling it at that price. It's kind of disgusting sometimes when these companies sell things so expensive. But I guess people want to try and make money, don't they? So they're gonna sell it at that price. Right, I've got to work out now where the rest of the skin of this finger is. So we've gone with like a green. That's the colour we went for. So I think it'll be okay. It's like a very dull green. It's nothing bright or anything like that. So it should look fairly toned down. So it should be good. What we got? Oh, more love coming in on the love hearts. Whoop whoop. Whoever that is, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I didn't even realise you could do that. So I'm quite impressed. We've got some Superfan in tonight. Superfan! Hey, one day when we get to like 1,000 viewers or whatever, we'll start doing things like Superfan of the Week or something. I don't know. It'll be quite funny. Superfan of the Week for Minis-N-Muscles is Bobby Joe Jojo. I don't even know if that's a real person, by the way. That's me just taking the mickey. Right. Got that there, that there. I think the rest is all straps. Straps and cloth. Okay. What colour would a fingernail on a giant be? That's a good question. I don't know the answer to it, but anyone know the answer to that? What colour a fingernail on a giant would be? Anyone? Shout it out. Tell me. The colour of a fingernail is... it's a Tupperware box, microwave meal box. The clear plastic box that your model come in. Open up the card back, remove the model, and use a plastic part for a paint tray. Yeah, love it, Adrian. That's very cool. I like the idea of that. So it's very similar to my frugal sort of water dish. Is just a goo food. You know the goo desserts or whatever they are? The goo desserts tray. Just cleaned it out and used that. For years I didn't have a paint tray. I just used a piece of plastic. So I didn't have this nice sort of swank, although this is only about £8, but I didn't have a wet palette. I just used a normal tray. Piece of plastic, sorry. Look at all them smiles coming in. Yay. That's super cool. I shall find out who you are. I don't know if I can find out actually, so it's a bit of a bummer, but because I want to say thank you. Should we do not maybe like a bright gold, but maybe like an off goldy colour, like a brass colour for the nail? I think that'd be quite a cool colour. Here we go. Oh crikey! I've done it again, guys. I've forgotten the muscle moment, so we'll do that in a sec. So let's just get this nail painted. Let's quickly put some... That's actually not a bad colour, I quite like that. It's not like obscenely crazy gold. Okay, it's not as bad as what I thought. Actually better. There we go. All right, like a gold nail there for the giant that the trader's taken that off. Dear me. Right, let's just wash that. Kind of our paintbrush drying up on us. Let's do that. Let's flip the camera back to the front. Not back to the future, but back to the front. Look at those, all those cool little emojis still coming in. I'm pretty sure, like Adrian said, someone's fallen asleep on the keyboard. But whoever it is, I love you. Love you long time. JPC is in the house. Good day. Stuck at work as usual. Shame, JPC. But we are glad to have you here on Minis and Muscles as always, broski. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to have you here. So the muscle moment. We normally take 10 minutes out of our painting session to talk about muscly stuff, because it wouldn't be the channel where minis meet muscles, the brawn meets the brush and all the rest of that if we didn't talk about a little bit of exercise, right? So what did I want to talk about this week? Well, I wanted to talk about this week gym bros, right? Gym bros, because I was in the gym this week and I saw the most hilarious individual with proper tiny... Now, calves are a very difficult area to grow anyway, so I get that. But this person had never worked their legs out in a day ever. And they were tiny little legs, but like this gigantic upper body that just didn't match. It looks so freaky. So I wanted to talk about that today. What did I want to talk about on Gym Bros? Well, first of all, visually, right? Visually. I mean, yes, you can put trousers on and cover those legs, but you look really oddly shaped. It's like, do you remember anyone goes back to watching Eurotrash many moons ago, and on a TV programme that was in the UK called Eurotrash, there was a woman on it called Lolo Ferrari, right? Google Lolo Ferrari. Lolo Ferrari had the most ridiculous sized boobs. It was disgusting. It was like bigger than beach balls on her chest. Ridiculous. And when I say beach balls, I mean like out here. It was absolutely insane. But it looks really odd. JPC's in agreement there. Don't skip leg day. Yeah, 100%. Because you get these people that have got like massive upper bodies. And I'm like, wow, you've trained so hard and really well to develop that physique on top. And then you sort of look down, you're like, oh man, what have you done? You've just forgotten the rest of you. So it looks really odd, and I would assume that majority of people find it odd to look at or weird to look at, people like that. I don't know. Maybe in modern day society, the gym bro look is what ladies like. Do ladies like guys that work out like that in a gym bro style with a massive upper body and a very tiny lower body? I don't know, but symmetry is what I've always thought was very good for looks. So, you know, if you've got a certain size physique up top, the bottom should match in some way. Even on your face, it's like the written rule is that symmetry is perfection. Perfection is adored by everybody. So if your face is symmetrical, it's very good and it's very appealing. I think people like Brad Pitt or whoever has a very symmetrical face, hence why people find him attractive. So same works on your body, right? But however, it can create a massive, weird, unbalanced physique, muscularly. So when you're training upper body and you're pulling up all these massive weights, if you neglect your lower back and you don't train back properly, because all you do is chest and arms, maybe some shoulders, you're throwing these massive weights around, you're going to end up injuring your back at some point. I pretty much guarantee it, because if you're training in this manner anyway, you probably don't care much about form, I'm guessing. So you'll end up pulling your back, you know, and then it just the back then connects straight into the butt cheeks, hamstrings, etc., all the way down. So it's not good at all. You must look after your body, and that's what it comes to ultimately, is looking after the body as a whole. So, you know, when you're looking at things like functional strength as a whole, not just, oh, I can bicep curl X or I can bench press Y. When you're looking at just functional strength, you know, if you can't squat down or you can't bend over without toppling over, you know, it's rather ridiculous. You should always train legs, because legs promote body growth anyway. Oh, sorry guys, excuse me. Leg training promotes body growth. So I think there's an interview with Arnold Schwarzenegger that talked about not skipping leg day and training hard on legs, because legs grows the entire body. So yeah, you should always do that. Look at all those love hearts and eye emojis and stuff all flowing in. Thank you, whoever that is. It is appreciated. So yes, functional strength. Having a body that is trained fully helps with overall functional strength. It limits your injury risk. So if you've got a completely out of proportion body where muscles are massive one side and they're not the other, muscles work in opposites, so you need the opposite to back up the other one. So if your bicep is really big but your tricep is really small, it doesn't work as efficiently and you're going to end up with some form of injury. So you must always train the opposites to what you're doing. Legs and knees support the body weight. They certainly do, sir. They certainly do. So yeah, you never want injuries, especially as you get older. I think I started finding injuries very difficult to overcome over the age of about 30. So once I reached that age, injuries started to take me a lot longer to get over. Now in my 40s, it takes even longer to get over. So, you know, mark my words, if you're in your 20s, it will catch up with you. And then this whole body benefits, you know, I just don't get the idea. It must be purely aesthetic, right? It's like people that have plastic surgery on their face and stuff. I don't understand that, you know. I get that people might not like how they might look or something like that, but you should be confident in yourself enough to love yourself, whoever you are and whatever you look like. But you wouldn't want like a massive mismatch between. I don't know why I was going down that route. Sorry, but you wouldn't want a massive mismatch between your top half and bottom half. It's just absurd. So lack of balance, lack of functional strength overall. You risk injury. Yeah, that's probably about it, really. And it just looks weird. But anyway, that's the point I wanted to bring up today on the muscle moment. It's only 10 minutes of light chat, light humour. Has anyone got any thoughts on training and physical training at all they wanted to talk about? They wanted to drop a comment in. Please feel free. Stick it in the comments. Let me know. But as we've done that, let's smash back to our little rogue trader himself. Actually, what I should have done whilst we were there is I should have grabbed this shade, shouldn't I? Because I wanted to do some shading. Okay, so there's a couple of different shades that I want to try out. There's two, actually. So these are the two. I want to try Seraphim Sepia and Agras Urkshade. Agras is more dirtier looking. This Seraphim is more like for highlighting contours. And oh, sugar, I've just dropped. It's for highlighting contours and things like that. So what I was thinking on this model is we use the sepia on the inner robe, and on the outer robe, which is like at the moment quite white and creamy looking, we want to make that more dirty. So we're going to stick that with Agras Outshade, and we're going to use a sepia tone on the inside cloak. Oh, look at the love hearts still flowing in. Man, who is this? Who are you doing that? Not that I'm bothered about that. I'm absolutely loving it. I think it's wonderful that you're doing it. But yeah, I just don't know who you are that's doing it. So hopefully JPC, work is okay this week, and you don't have to work too long. And you manage to maybe sneak out and watch a little bit more of Minis and Muscles. But let's try and get this sepia tone on here for shading. Let's see what this comes out like. Okay, so it's a bit of a it's okay, it's not bad. Let's just apply it and see what it looks like first. Sometimes when you first apply paint or a shade or something like that and you put it on, you're like, oh, I don't like that. You know, and you get that sort of that's shit. But then when you finish it, it ends up looking pretty good. And you're like, oh, actually, I don't mind. Like when I first put that on, I didn't like it. Now, actually, I'm quite liking that. So let's get it on the rest of this inner robe. See what it looks like. I think it's looking pretty cool. Oh, a bit too much. Nice thing with the shade, if you ever put too much, you can always go back with the brush. Dab your brush in the area that you've put too much shade and just fling it elsewhere. Fling it on the rest of the model. So that's quite nice. You can just take that away. I've just noticed there's some details on his cloak as well that could be filled with some actual colour. I've also noticed an area that I missed, so we'll have to go back and put that right. Okay, got those little bits there to do. It's just the edges. So, JPC's have you in my Bluetooth whilst I finish up? Yeah, buddy. We like that. Nice work. Don't worry, we're not going to tell the boss. We're going to say to the boss, leave JPC alone. He's the true Minis and Muscles follower. You can't pick on him. You pick on JPC, you pick on the rest of us, yeah? Oh, how do you have Bluetooth on your YouTube on your Bluetooth? How do you do that? Whenever I have YouTube, as soon as I lock my phone, it like turns YouTube off. So I can't do that. I can't do that. Right, okay, so that's his sort of shade done there. There we go. I reckon that's going to look quite good, peeps. I'm quite liking that. It's quite a muddy vibe, that is. This one, hopefully, is going to be like the dirty vibe. No, not like that, but the dirty vibe. So this is to dull down the inside of this robe. You see instantly here, look, how sort of dark that goes. That's exactly what I wanted. Light undercoat followed by this sort of dark Agrax Earthshade to fill that and just make it look dirty. Because this guy's, you know, a travelling merchant, you know, this little rogue trader that sort of wanders the between town and town. May pop up in your Dungeons and Dragons story sporadically to sell your party wares. You know, that's what you want. The love hearts and the stuff is still flowing in, so again, thank you, whoever that is. Right, let's get that across. So I think this will look quite cool when it's dried. So ultimately as well, you know I was talking about speed paints earlier, and they do this kind of effect. So they have a big sort of pooling effect. So when you paint like this, it actually drops into all the spots and gives you that kind of shade, almost instantaneous. So it doesn't look, I would say speed paint colours don't look as deep or as rich, but if you're painting fast and trying to paint fast, they're the way to go. If you're painting for the love and for the passion of painting, I'd say normal paints are the way to go. But if you're painting fast because you want something done quick, speed paints are very, very good. Can you see here, as we start to paint in here, you can almost start to see the details of the object in his jacket just by the paint falling into the recesses. So that's really nice. There we go. Okay. So that's looking pretty good. Alright, so I'm just going to put him to one side for a moment. We've got, what, 15 minutes left? I reckon we should get the little orc lady out and start doing some paint on her. So we've got an orc barbarian here, peeps. An orc barbarian. Colours. We need to know colours. What colours should we have? So whoever is hitting up with the love hearts and the love in the messages and the emojis, that's the word I was looking for. What colours should we have? Adrian, are you still there? JPC, are you still there? Oh no, you're JPC, you're working, so I understand you can't comment. It could be Penny's Pit Stop, it could be Gav, whoever else is there. Oh, Adrian's saying red. Red for what? The entire robe. So the inner robe is red. Okay, Adrian, I'm running with it. I'm going with it. We've got two reds. Adrian, we've got corn red or Mephiston red. One is a sort of darker red, which is corn red. The Mephiston red is brighter. Which one? I will mix up both. So I want to know which red. Darker red or the lighter red or brighter red. What red shall we go for? The lighter red or the darker red? Still getting some love on the emojis. How is that happening? I'm here. Mix both. Oh, JPC. You crazy fool. Well, mixing both. What will we get with mixing both? Should we try it? Okay. JPC, I am taking your request and I'm mixing both the dark red and the light red. I don't know what this will do. I guess it will just give us a kind of dark red. Don't know. Okay, this is interesting. We'll see. We'll see where this goes. Let's see. Still getting loads of... Oh, we've got lots of laughy faces now coming through. on the, or maybe they're laughing at the colours that we're going to use now. So I would say by mixing both of those, whether I've mixed them completely equal begs to question, but I think the brighter red actually takes lead there, and it seems to be just slightly duller than it is out the pot, so that's not a bad thing. I was going to suggest the duller red anyway, purely because in D&D, well, my world of D&D, not your world of D&D, but my world of D&D, in my head and how I see it is that it's like quite a no one's going to have bright clothing, are they? Like, genuinely, the king will have bright clothing, or a king, or a noble person, but you're not going to have bright clothing in the D&D world. You're going to be fairly subdued. So, I don't know, maybe this red out there robe that this this orc barbarian is wearing might be too much. We shall see. But maybe it's just the colour of death, and that's why she likes it. What's JPC saying? I don't know. I do gold by mixing my 3 golds together. Works for reds too. Yeah, it does work. It certainly does. It gives it a different tone. So I'm liking it. And that's what I'm saying. I think it's quite cool. I think it's quite cool, yeah. Yep. There we go. Stick that in there. There we are. It's a nice red going across the front of the robe there. It's got our trousers there, so we won't do that section. Main cape there. So we need to extend the robe up towards a chest. There we go. Yeah, so it's quite nice this evening. We've managed to get some colour on 2 models. So we managed to get some colour on our sort of rogue trader, our travelling rogue, and the orc barbarian female as well from our party. So she's having some colour put on her, which is cool. I'm just going to have to get this little ruck of her robe that's just folding over. There we go. So we're still getting loads of emojis flying through here on Minis and Muscles. I've never seen this before, so whoever you are, thank you so much. What is Adrian saying? Adrian is saying corn, blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. Ah, yeah. So that, if any of you know or don't know, that is a Warhammer reference to a certain faction in Warhammer. So that is what Adrian is referring to there, with his quote. Sorry, I'm painting out of camera again. Sometimes I do that, guys. So just drop a message in the chat if I do it. I get carried away and I sort of end up drawing the model closer towards me all the time. So do shout if I do that. So Steve, don't be such a fool. Bring the model back. That's why we're here, to see the model. And to chat, cool chat with me. Well, hopefully you've had some cool chat this evening. I've had some cool chat with you guys, talking about being frugal with our miniature spending off the back of my pile of shame video that I released last week. So yeah, so it's quite a nice difference to talk about being frugal. And generally speaking, although I do have a rather large pile of shame, I am quite frugal generally in life, and even with models. That has taken me ages to get that pile of shame to the level it is now. So that didn't just develop overnight. It has taken some time to get there, and some considerable time to get there, I should add. Okay, so she's got that for her main robe. How are we looking? What do we reckon? Looks alright. Red? Brown for leather belts and boots. Yeah, I think so, Adrian. I think you're right. We've still got plenty of emojis flowing in from the emoji lover. Yeah! Bring them emojis. Pump it up. Oh, itchy chest. So let's go for... I'm going to go for a light brown across the top of the boot. And I'll go for a darker brown on the remainder. So this is like a sort of fold over part of the boot, if you like. Yeah, so we spoke about our frugalness throughout this episode and how to sort of combat what could be an expensive hobby if you follow my footsteps and collect a rather large pile of shame. Or you can take the frugal approach like this with this lovely, although it smells a bit funky, this lovely light that was only £15 including delivery, which I was very impressed with. And it's actually pretty good, to be fair. Does smell funky, but 15 quid, can't grumble at that. That is a price of kings, that is. Well, actually, no, maybe it's not a price of kings, because kings wouldn't be bothered about the price, would they? I remember, right, I watched a morning TV programme with Andy Peters on it, and a fine gentleman was talking about the royal family. I think it was something like their shoes. The person that makes the royal family's shoemaker, and something like a pair of shoes is like 1,500 quid. That's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, they're all handmade and all the rest of it, and I'm sure the quality is insane. But that's a lot of money for a pair of shoes. Whew. Right. Lighter brown for the tops of the boots, and let's find a darker brown for the bottom. It's funny tonight with my concurrent viewers. I don't know if this is correct or not, but it seems to like go up to like 7, 8, 9, and then it just disappears again. I don't know what happens on YouTube. Maybe it's just people like tuning in for the first time and realising that they don't actually like what I'm talking about because I talk a load of crap. But it could be that. It could be that, and it might... Well, it's probably that, because I do talk a lot of crap on this show. But it's quite weird. I don't know if it's just a YouTube, like, reporting sort of error as such, or whether that is factual. Right, whether there are people that are just joining and they join for a minute and they watch and they turn off, or whether it means that it's just sort of an unstable connection perhaps, and they can't always see who is watching what. So I'm never sure how many of you are out there, so please do drop a comment in the comments box if you're here. Let me know you're here, and if you're just joining and this is the first time you're watching, please do get onto the videos, have a look around the YouTube channel. We talk about lots of geeky subjects whilst painting miniatures. We also talk about fitness about halfway through. So if you're joining now, you have missed our muscle moment, but we do talk about it every show. So if fitness is also your passion, then we do talk about that too. So there we go, got like a darker bottom for those boots and a lighter top. I think I quite like that kind of light top, darker bottoms effect. Reminds me of sort of pirates. And I like pirates, so that's good. Here we go. So we've got 5 minutes left of the show. Bootmaker by appointment to the king. Oh, mate, yeah, I'd love to be bootmaker by appointment to the king. Although, sadly, I'm not. Like I say, it was a It was a morning TV programme with Andy Peters on it, and who I think is incredibly hilarious to watch. He's quite a funny chap, quite like him. But yeah, he was watching it. He was talking about how the royal family have their shoes made for them. It was quite interesting. Quite interesting, I thought. Okay, so we've got that done. What else do we need to do? We've got... Oh, throwing the model about. We've got our trousers here that are just poking through. I'm thinking like a dark green colour would go well with red. So let's find a darkish green. What we got? That green will do. Mix it up. So I might be able to get the trousers done on this model as well, just before the end of the show, which would be nice. There we go. Here we are. Let's get some green on the go. Da, da, da. I think that looks alright. Yeah, seems to look alright. There we go. I'll just run over the red a little bit there, but should be okay. There we are. Nice little green. There we go. I'm not going to do inside the cape and there. I think that's enough. We don't need to go that way. There is a little bit of green just here in between the scabbard belt and her leg. So we need to fill that. Don't worry about me going over the edge. We can go over that later, so that's fine. There's also a little bit down here that we need to get. So let's just fill that now. Go. That green is filled. A little bit in there. So let's fill that green in there. And I think that is all the green. So there we go. What do we reckon? Nice. Oh, the emojis are back. Yeah! Fly emojis, fly! Right, well, let's pack that up because let's just have a quick can we zoom in a little bit more? Yes, we can. So here is our little orc barbarian. Here she is so far. Obviously no details painted on her yet. That is what she looks like. We've also got the rogue trader. Oh, bring him into view. There we go. Carrying a giant nail. No, finger, sorry. So he's got a giant finger with a fingernail on the top there. Yes, it all needs tidying up. I know, I am fully aware. Huge backpack of wares to sell the party. Then you've got the other party members. Let's not forget them. We've got our cleric dwarf, who is sitting pretty with his sort of very cool rogue, royal looking robe. I like him. He looks really smart. And you've got our female rogue in a very sultry pose there with a purple cape. I think that looks pretty cool actually. I like that purple cape. Freedom! Shouts JPC. He's out of work. He's out of work, people. Well done, JPC. You've made it out of work. End of day for you, sir. Well done. And talking of end of day, so let's move back up to this screen, just so I can show you as well. That is the road that we're painting, and this is where our minis are going to sit for our diorama. And that is, look, if you look on the underside, you can see it's just expanding foam. Talking of frugalness, that's where you should do what you should do. Things like that. So, people, that is the end of the show. 2 hours of talking geek, painting miniatures, and anything and everything else in between. Don't forget to click the like button, says Adrian. Exactly! If you haven't clicked the like button yet, please click it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're at, I think, 110 subscribers at the moment. We've been going a few months. Let's push it and let's try and see if we can get a few more on board. 150, 200, wow, be amazing. It would be pretty epic if we could get a few more subscribers. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like everything. Stick a comment in the video even. That helps the algorithm for more people to see it. So stick a comment in the video once it's posted and gone live. Not live, but into the video section on the YouTube channel. Share it with your friends. Share it with the family. I always say it just because it's funny, but get your nan on here. Get your mum on here. Let's all talk geek. I'm sure they're geeks, probably closet geeks, right? But thank you for absolutely every single one of you. I love doing this every week. Don't do it for money. I do it for the fun. I do it for talking to you guys, talking geek, and just having a blast painting models. As I say every week, stay safe, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you guys next week where the brawn meets the brush, 7 PM on a Friday evening, 7 PM GMT that is. On a Friday evening, I will see you all very, very soon. Take it easy, have a good night, stay safe. Bye-bye.
Minis-N-Muscles, we're heroes rise. The dying world's still mighty skies. Rushing ahead, we're power we fight. Strength that breaks you, night in the night. Where the brawn meets the brush. The story's told in this love imagination mode. With every stroke, adventures unfold. Minis-N-Muscles, heart and soul. Guidance in hand and worlds to explore. Roll the future, hear the dice roar. Gaining realms of muscles drawn. Together in this place where we belong. Doling spells, casting dreams until the dawn. Leveling up and the world's in all